She's just ridiculous. Oh,
Hey there! What do you say there, world? Welcome to another incredible episode of the Racers Recap. This is going to be a fun one because there's nobody here to keep us in check. My name's Justin, and joining me is my man, Joey Cavino. How you doing, buddy?
what's up, Big Shoots? What's happening?
Special Monday night episode, Valentine's Day. So Jen is on a beautiful vacation with her husband, and James Earl is in the hospital because he's a doctor, and that's what he does. He's on the front lines dealing with the COVID situation right now. So it's me and Joey. Trouble is ahead.
One lonely degree here in Boston.
Oof.
It is so incredibly cold out, and it's the wind. The wind chill's making it like -6. It's absurd. I've had it.
Yeah, we're gonna be in trouble tonight. Maybe we'll bring in one of the fans in the chat to keep us in. We'll see. Maybe we'll bring him in a little later. We'll join in.
Who's in?
Hey, hello from Europe. How you doing? That might be my friend from Poland. How are you? How you doing? Poland. Yes, we got as far as bringing guests on from this show from the current season, here's the situation with that. CBS is terrible about doing interviews with racers. They usually keep like an hour or two a week, one day, and they line up all of the people back to back to back, and you got like 10, 15 minutes to do interviews with the people. That's never been my style. That's never anything that I want to do. Anybody that's come on the show has just come on the show. Nobody's ever going to get in trouble for coming on the show. They don't care enough to search around and get but this season's cast keeps asking CBS, and CBS is like, yeah, we could do it, but it's going to be like on a Wednesday at 4 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's not fun to just run a recorded interview. That's not what this show is about. So the final episode of the season airs before the last episode of the Races Recap, so then I should be able to get the winners on. So I'm going to have the winners on, and the week before the winners, I'm going to have a special guest, hopefully, fingers crossed. Should be an incredible episode. And then once that happens, I think the floodgates will open. But we'll see how that goes. So that's the situation as far as this season and guests. So we could have guests on, but they won't be live, and it'll only be for like 10, 15 minutes because in order for CBS to do the interviews, one of the producers has got to be like on the phone or on the line with us. And there's no producer that's going to work at 7 o'clock at night and sit there for an hour. So there you go. That's the truth. That's the behind the scenes. That's what you get here. We don't sugarcoat it. We don't hide anything from you guys. We give it to you like it is. Because you deserve it. This is a show for super fans. This is the stuff you get nowhere else. If you want to get the same
superstars.
Hey, superstars. If you want to get the same show, there's literally, 10, 15 other recaps where you can get the same exact show 15 times. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, they don't really bring much different. This season, I mean, every cast member has a recap, so you can get their perspective, which is pretty cool. So you really don't need to have them on our show. You can get their perspective. The only one that I watch is the Holderness one, because they actually really get into it. Everybody else is.
I haven't seen any this year so far.
I only watched the Holderness one.
I'm boycotting them because I want them to join our chat. They can at least get in the chat and listen. I mean,
they are very busy, and they are both parents, and so I totally get it. They could get in the chat,
parents.
sure.
We're both parents. You know what? I'm reverting back to old Joey tonight. Fuck this.
No JoJo. No JoJo. No talking shit about the Holderness family here.
No, I do. I love them. I think they know that. That I was won over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
overall about the episode, what'd you think?
It wasn't honestly, one of the greatest episodes ever. It was entertaining. I liked it. It's funny this season, and I don't want to. It's hard for me to say this. I don't want to keep going back here, but it reminds me a lot of my season. Like a lot of the tasks are very similar, like climbing tasks, bungee jumping, eating stuff by a lighthouse, type of thing. It reminds me a lot. It's bringing back very, very fond memories.
We have a Holderness in chat just as you're talking. How you doing there, Tommy? He's represented for the Holderness family.
What do they have? People? They're sending people now to the chat? We'll
take it. What are you going to do? Arun and Natalia have popped into the chat this season, and then
they have. And they've stayed incredibly quiet, and they probably cried because every time I said something shitty about them. But I love them too. I love Arun's awesome on social media too.
Yeah,
way to get after it, that big boy.
He's such a good-hearted dude, man.
He really is. I kind of want to hang out with him and I want to go on like a really scary roller coaster with him and just watch him the whole time because
I want to get him drunk and see how he really feels. See what he's really like. All right, let's get things started here. Oh no, reset. All right, we're gonna do back to the 15-minute starts here. We're gonna back to the 15-minute starts. There's only 2 starts this time because there's no
people.
No, not no people. It's Jesus. No speed bump because the speed bump was the third group. Why am I not getting my stuff in here? Oh my gosh.
I was going to ask you about that. The speed bump is just a delayed start?
It's 15 minutes behind the last team.
I feel like I want to claim shenanigans on
that. Why?
Because it's not a task. It's just a 15 minutes. It was like that one time the guy had to sit on the ice cube for 50. Like, come on.
Listen, they're doing what they need to do to get a race going. So I totally understand. I wish there would be another task.
I'm not shitting on production or anything else, but I'm just saying you couldn't throw in I don't know, juggle, stand up, do something.
No, I love a speed bump. Trust me, I want there to be speed bumps, but I understand there's certain time restraints that they have since they have this private jet sitting on a friggin' tarmac. They have to. Get on and get out at a certain time.
15 minutes, run a lap around the lighthouse. Run up to the top of the lighthouse. Throw somebody off the friggin' lighthouse. I don't know.
Throw somebody off the lighthouse. All right, so the first groups are leaving 15 minutes before the second group. And there's some cool stuff going on here. Let's check it out. So they got to sleep in these tents. Put the pictures of the tents that they were sleeping in here.
It was 29 in Norway. Yeah.
Yep. And they slept in these tents right by the river. But one of the coolest special bonus footage, if you can watch it, there's even for the people out of the country, I think go to Reddit. There's a place there that they have a video for the people who are out of the country to watch it. There's this campfire scene, and you have to watch it. It's really, really cool. They're sitting around the campfire. They're talking, having a great time, finally getting to know each other. I really love that behind-the-scenes stuff, and I wish they showed more of that on the race. Did you get to see that one?
I did not. No, but I'm going to look forward to it, seeing it because I'm going to be frozen in my house for 2 days.
So, yeah, this is what the tents look like. They were pretty small. There was nothing special, and they were just pop-up tents. There was nothing that you really had to work hard to put up. But the campfire scene reminded me a lot of the campfire we had in Africa, sitting around at Backpackers Lodge. We're literally singing Hakuna Matata, eating warthog, and just getting to know each other, and finally putting the race down for a second and just.
You're singing the song. No, you're eating the animal who sang the song that you're singing.
Yep. That's kind of what we felt like. Hakuna Matata. It was a great time. It's literally, that's why I traded in most of my clothes in Africa and kind of bartered it with people, and I bought everybody on the cast a necklace with this water snake on it, and I gave one to everybody on the cast.
And they still hated you.
They still hated me, but I tried.
You can't buy love. You can't buy friendship.
Well, I can't do anything. I'm not really good at making friends or keeping friends. I'm terrible with that stuff. I don't really keep in touch. I'm just bad at that. All right, so teams had to make their way to Torre de Fuecia and eat a piece of bread with casu marzu cheese, which is maggot cheese, to receive their next clue. Now, the maggot cheese was about 45 miles away from where they were, and about an hour's drive. And they finally get to drive on this island, but it wasn't in any of the dangerous roads. It was literally down the coastline on one of the nicest highways they have on this island. So that's why they got to drive.
Of all things.
In the convertible.
Beautiful.
Yeah, which is beauty. I mean, you're on an island of Corsica in the convertible. Doesn't get much better than that. It's You finally get to look around. It's going to be an hour drive. It's one road the whole way, so you really don't have to do much navigating. So you can actually take it in. There's very few times you get to do that, and very few times when you're riding in a car without the sound guy and the camera guy.
Right. I was trying to get a view of the backseat camera, but they were angling it perfect that you couldn't see it. I was like, damn it.
It was just GoPros. They just had those GoPros. Oh, Ray, thank you so much for the super chat.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Ray. That's really cool of you, man. Thank you.
I'll lose that for you in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. All right. So, just a little piece of advice: if you're gonna try to use a map in a convertible, two things that you should probably keep in mind: one, roll the front windows up, and two, keep the map below chest line, below the waves, the airwaves. And as you could see from Ryan and Dusty, they didn't do that. They had the map all over their face trying to drive around. It was really fun to watch. The bad thing about this, though, is this led to the first two teams following each other and the last three teams just following each other, because it was just a nice long road down the highway, and you can't speed. They track your speed, and if you go over the speed limit, then they dock you time and you get penalized. So people, as you could see, if you're watching them, they're really looking at that speedometer, because production is right behind you and they're driving in the same speed as you. And if you go fast, they'll dock you and you'll get penalized. And that on this leg, that could have really killed teams. So cute convertibles. Raquel and Kayla start the race and they say "I love you" to each other, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, they have such a cool. Yeah.
It didn't suck.
They have such a cute relationship.
They do.
I really appreciate what they bring as far as their relationship and the way that they deal with each other, especially under stress. They say that they let Kim and Penn go ahead of them so they can follow. Also, a little behind the scenes bonus footage as Kim and Penn were coming down the mountain to go park to spend the night. Kim, being the super fan that she is, said that this was a mountain leg and they're going to stay and have another leg. There's probably not going to be another mountain leg. They're probably going to go towards the beaches, which are beautiful. And she knew that the beaches were to the left and the mountains were to the right. So literally the other teams, when they left, got out and went to the right because that's what they were familiar with. And Kim and Penn went out and went to the left. They couldn't get a big enough lead to get away from Raquel and Kayla, but just always thinking, and that's going to make the difference. I think that's going to be the difference maker for a lot of little legs. Like, she's paying attention.
Should we wait to talk about Penn and his little frustrations about not waiting, or can we address that now?
We'll get there in a sec. We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Penn shows off his French. He finally finds someone to talk to and speaks his little Frenchy French. Very impressed there. Obviously, that's something in there when you're doing two legs in Corsica that's going to come in handy. Arun and Natalia follow the other teams, which for them, I don't give them any crap for that, because that's the smartest thing that they could do. When you're terrible at navigation, that's when you follow. Kim and Penn go right past the parking lot, and Raquel and Kayla just pull into the parking lot and get ahead of them.
And there was an arrow there, right?
There was an arrow. Okay, so one thing, why does they get up to the cheese guy who's got this huge knife and a gun? Why does the cheese guy have a gun? Like,
It reminded me of the Godfather movies when they were walking along and everyone's got it's called a lupare, an Italian shotgun. I don't know, maybe there's going to be some Corsican lion or something that comes out and attacks them or something.
It's like, dude, why does he have a gun and a knife like the size of like it's a foot-long knife and a gun, and he's got this crazy smile on his face? It's like, you're on top of a mountain. This is the scariest thing they're going to have to face on the race. Screw bungee jumping. This guy's got a knife, a gun, and a dog.
I wasn't sure about that. I was just like, well, maybe that's how it was in the old days, in the old country type of thing, trying to get the feel for it. But I was kind of like, maybe they're gonna have to shoot the cheese or something. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out either.
Yeah, it's like, what is this guy? This guy's a nut, man. He's just absolutely crazy. And then they got to eat maggot cheese. Okay, Raquel and Kayla, they wait for Kim and Penn. All right. So they got to eat the maggot cheese. Okay, maggot cheese, which for people who don't know, this guy, when he was telling Lulu and Lala that those things move around in your stomach, he wasn't lying, because these things can live through your stomach acids, and that's why this cheese is illegal in most of the world. And I don't know if it's illegal in Corsica, but it's illegal in most of the world because it can give you. I wish James Earl was here because it can give you pseudomyiasis or something like that. It could really the things can survive in there and lay eggs, and then eventually those little larvae can come out through your skin like.
When they started saying that, I'm pretty sure, and again, Doc needs to be here, but a lot of species of maggots can live through stomach acid. That's why you don't eat them. So the reason why you don't eat them. But and because they were so small and there were so many of them, maybe that was because they were so small. I don't know, but
what I heard is they weren't allowed to eat beforehand, and I think that's so that stomach acids were at their most strong. I don't know. They didn't give him any food to eat, and they told him not to eat. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Yeah, it's illegal in EU, so also in Corsica. Well, I mean, the Racing Race wouldn't make them do something that's illegal. Oh, that's. But I mean,
is Ray saying it wasn't a roadblock or detour? Just you had to eat it to get your clue.
Yeah, so you definitely had to. You definitely had to do it, and if you didn't do it, you could get a penalty. You could take a penalty, which is a minimum 45 minutes, I think, for roadblock. For a route info, and it's 4 hours for a detour roadblock. So I don't know if anybody was going to skip that.
You just choke it down like it's a bad sexual experience and just get after it.
Nobody really had any issues with it because they were really tiny, and the hardest.
The big thing was dry, but I mean, Penn was gagging like a maniac, though.
He's got a bad gag reflex,
and someone was gagging too, and it didn't sound like their voice. It almost sounded like they were dubbing over Penn's voice again. Yeah, I think it was one of the girls who was. I'm like, that doesn't sound like Kayla, Raquel, or Natalia, or whoever the hell it was.
Yeah, and so nobody really enjoyed it except Kim. She was over there dancing and having a good time, and it seemed like she was the only one who really enjoyed it. A couple teams were pretty sneaky. I don't know if you saw this, but the super fan in me notices the little things. When they bite into it, they push a little bit off, and some of it falls to the ground. I was like, you dirty little snakes.
I had a piece of, what was that stuff, rockfish or whatever the hell it was, from Norway. I had it lodged up in the shoe. It was so dry, and it tasted like a big hunk of salt water, but it was dry, and you couldn't swallow it. So you either swallow it whole. I don't eat sushi or anything like that, so it stayed in there for about an hour, and then finally, when we're driving down the street, I'm like, roll the window.
Yeah, I do think they should have had to eat a lot more of it though, so they could, potentially. I think
they should have had to feed each other like a wedding, go around the thing and feed. Maybe lick the maggots off a little, snort them. Do something like that.
I like when they do incorporate some of the local delicacies, though. I think that's pretty cool. And
agreed. Yeah, like scorpions.
Yeah, of course. Things like whatever. Scorpions. So what? It's it's just crunchy. It's like just making a noise.
When it comes to, I'm the biggest pickiest eater on the planet, I think, next to my son. But when it comes to $1 million, I'm just like, wipe its ass, rip its horns off, throw it right down on the plate. I'm eating it.
Arun and Natalia fall to last place because they can't open the trunk. So even though that they got everybody there, they're having a hard time opening the trunk to put their bags in.
Isn't there a pop on the inside of the car?
I don't know. This was a Volkswagen, so it's not like it was that much of a foreign car. So I don't know, but a couple people did say that the trunk was hard to open. I don't know.
Shit in the backseat.
It's a
Who's
trunk.
Gonna steal it?
I know. I don't know. I
you
think
don't
the
lose
clue.
The race because you can't open a trunk. And
the clue said put your bags in the trunk, so everybody put their bags in the trunk.
All right. Okay.
I think they would. I don't know. They're being specific. I don't know either. But okay, what do you think about Raquel and Kayla waiting at the bottom of the hill just to follow Kim and Penn? To me, that's just not the winner's mentality.
No, and you don't do that at all, ever. But it actually worked out for them because remember what Penn said. Oh, they waited. I like them again. And I'm like, why is everyone expecting people to wait for them all of a sudden? Like, it's, you guys, you're in a race. I mean, you're friends, you hang out and do good kumbaya and you eat the boar and you know, whatever. And then you sit by the river and then you have fun. But when it's race time, it's go time. You make a deal, you're going to follow with it. I just I get frustrated. Yeah. When we were in Norway, we worked with the boys and we said, we actually physically helped each other go up that mountain. And we said, when we're at the top, I'm going to give you the Heisman, Redmond. I'll kick you kick your leg off or something, and we're going. And he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm going to throw you back down a flight of stairs." So I don't understand what's all this waiting around for us. It's the Amazing Race.
That was never a thought in our heads ever. No. The only time somebody helped us was the cheerleaders. Krista helped Diana by telling her to look at there was like the flower pots, to look at the flower pot, not just the flowers. And then we helped them one time and said to look somewhere else.
Fine.
We never waited for each other ever. We would never. I would never wait for anybody ever.
Helping with a clue, helping to find something, look at something, but waiting, slowing down your race
never
for someone else.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no. But
and I wouldn't be like, oh, what an asshole! That guy just ran by me, and didn't give me anything. No, it's I don't get it.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about Kim and Penn is they're too wholesome, they're too sweet, they're not gonna.
But they're also cutthroat. They're like, they're gonna tear Brian and Dusty's balls off, and we see him. Wait a minute, did it wait for us?
They never say anything like that.
It is. I'm paraphrasing.
Well, that's a big paraphrase to like, we want to beat Brian and Dusty. You're like, we're gonna tear their balls off.
They didn't like them winning all the time. They were getting after them. There was some talk of a U-turn.
Yes, everybody was scared of the U-turn.
And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, they're such nice boys. I don't know.
All right, so let's get to the next one, which is after everybody gets their route info, it says teams must make their way to the De Fuentra, and they eat a piece of bread. They already got that one there. All right, so they're going to head down to the Detour. All right, so teams must take a 15-minute, so you have a row your boat or gently down the stream. So this was 5.6 miles away, according to Google Maps, about 12 minutes, so they had to go inland a little bit, and then back towards the coast, 2 different roads. So not difficult, very easy to drive roads, nothing crazy like when they first got it. Right. So again, 12 minutes. So if you really have to stop and ask, 15, 20 minutes at most. So there's not a lot of time for people to fall too far behind here. And it's on the water. So worst case scenario, when there's something on the water, if you get lost going on the water, then you deserve to lose the race, because it's water. It's always going to be on your left-hand side, and going north and south. Like, it's just common sense to find water and stay along the water. So, all right. Teams had to paddle a transparent kayak, but it was actually a canoe, into the Mediterranean Sea, retrieve 10 matching metal fish to receive the next clue, or gently down the stream, which you take a 15-minute glass-bottom boat ride and look for 10 fish, and then identify those 10 fish in the exact order, and then you can get your next clue. I was surprised that only one team took the actual kayak test, but Raquel and Kayla wanted to do that, but when they waited for Kim and Penn, they were like, what are you guys going to do? And they were like, all right, we're going to do, because Penn has a photographic memory, so memory challenges he's always going to pick. So he's like, we're doing the memory one, and they're like, all right, we'll follow you guys. And I'd have been like, no, you're not. Go do your own thing. Like,
that was shocking that they did that. It worked out for them. It worked out for them great. It did.
Yeah.
Especially when you find out more about how heavy those things were to pull up from the ocean floor and all that. But no, I would never have done that, and I was surprised that they did, because they're not a team where I feel as though they need to really, really lean on anyone. They're a strong team.
Yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
If they don't believe it, because if you're waiting for a team that is better than you just so you could stay close to them, and they're like, oh, 4 heads are better than 1. It's like, there's no way I'm like saying or working with you even if I'm in the glass bottom boat. Like, I'm not. They're too nice. They were screaming out like, the flags and helping each other out. I'd have been like giving them the wrong answers. I'd have been like just throwing out weird words to confuse them.
Right. Well, look at when judging, once they go out to the judge's desk or whatever, where they started sorting the things.
Yeah.
Kim and Penn were on their own. They were like, all right, this, and then they just took off. They were gone.
That's exactly what you should do.
And that's what I would have done the same.
A little pissed off that the producers put there's only one little round area where you're literally standing next to each other. You can look at each other's thing. Like, that's where you're supposed to kind of get.
They didn't work together. But 5 minutes ago, Penn's all bullshit that they didn't wait for him. Then they just dropped him like they were a bad habit, even though they did wait for him. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Well, that's not his race. He's not going to wait for them. Like, that's not.
Right, but he's pissy. But my point was
because they followed.
Right. I agree with what Penn did. 100%. But Raquel and Kayla didn't go, oh, they didn't wait for us. So they didn't say, oh, you guys get it. They just let them go off on their own. So they could have did it themselves. They could have did either one of themselves. They don't need Kim and Penn, and Kim and Penn certainly don't need them. So I was really surprised that they're staying so close. And maybe that's because they have something planned against Ryan and Dusty. Maybe.
I don't know. They're not racing for first. Like, it's like Raquel and Kayla are like, okay, let's stay close. Let's stay close enough to them and maybe beat them in a foot race because we're faster than Kim. Maybe is that mindset? I don't know. But like, I'm always racing for first. In my mind, I'm never going to be last. There's never going to be like 5 teams that are better than me at anything. Yeah. So I'm not worried about that. That's my mentality. Like, so I'm always racing for first. But I guess everybody has a different mentality when they're running the race. Ryan and Dusty choose this task, and it would have been done a lot faster had they understand that if you're going to have one person paddle, it's not supposed to be the guy in the front. So they had the guy in the front paddling, just putting water in the damn boat because he doesn't know how to work a paddle. And the guy in the back, if you're going to have one person do it, it should be him. And if you're going to be having one person lean over and get it, it should be the guy in the front, not the guy in the back. The guy in the back puts all his weight in the back, and slowly lifts the front of the boat up, and then you lean one way, all of your weight over.
And they were doing that completely backwards. And that's why the asset of the boat started to fill up with water.
Yeah, and you don't sit down. You stand on your knees. You kneel. You kneel like you're giving someone like whatever, You get on your knees and you paddle.
What?
Yeah. Like, you're giving someone like a manicure or a shoe shine.
Yeah. Which one would you have done, memory or physical?
No, physical, all the time. Physical. Yeah. Physical.
I'm not waiting 15 minutes in case I make a mistake.
If you make a mistake, it's a half hour. It's a guaranteed half hour if you make a mistake. Minimum half hour. Not counting however long it takes to read the thing. And if while you're picking the things, the boat takes off again, you got to wait for it to come back. So it could be 45 minutes. No way in the world. I'm doing the task that I know. If I have the skills, I used to teach small boat sailing, kayaking, canoeing. Any chance to get in the water and show off my swimming skills, I would 100%, paddling skills. I would 100% take that every single time. Memory.
With the shirt on, of course.
Oh, yeah. I had man boobs. So, moobs. Diana was a teacher, so she hated being in those little swimsuits. But
look at Audrey. Look at Audrey throwing a little shade in the chat.
They're definitely not as capable as they think they are. This should have been a challenge that they beasted, and meanwhile they were just like deetity in it.
Well, they sank the boat.
They did sink the boat, and they again the way that
we can go through that.
Yeah. The way that they unsank the boat wasn't the best way to go about doing it. They should have one person on each side and lift, and then swim, but whatever. I don't know if they got taught that or they just tried to power through it. So 2 teams work together in the glass bottom boat. The last 2 teams work together in the glass bottom boat, and the last 2 teams, Lulu and Lala, Raquel and Kayla. Lulu and Lala and Aruna and Natalia work together, and they still got it wrong. And the biggest,
you could see that coming from a mile away.
And the biggest thing for me is Aruna and Natalia made the dumbest mistake here. They let Lulu and Lala go first, but instead of letting them go first, they both showed their things at the same exact time. And when he said no to Lulu and Lala, Aruna and Natalia just left. Instead of just taking a different one, instead of guessing the same exact one that they just... Like, if you let them go, they guess it wrong, you don't show them the same one that they just got wrong. You go to a different one. Yeah. You guess a different one and say, is this it? And then you get ahead of them. I couldn't believe that.
It's 2 that it's not when you come back.
And then in my head, I'm like, you're not even trying. You literally just, you you showed him the same exact one that he just said no to? And I had to go back and rewind it because they were both standing next to each other holding up the same one. They looked at Lulu and Lala and said no. If I was Arun and Natalia, I'd turn mine around and go like this. How about this one? Like,
yeah. And then when you come back, you're like, okay, there's a book of 5 of them. We know it's not the first 2.
Yeah, and then you only got to remember, like, after you look at it, you're like, okay, the 4th fish is always the same or is always different, so let's just remember the 4th fish, and then that's it. You only have to remember the 4th fish, and then you move on. You don't have to remember all 10. You know, whatever I'm saying.
I swear to God, it's like those two. It's like playing Russian roulette with an automatic.
There's a 0% chance either of those two teams win. 0% chance. There's no way. There's no way. They just don't. They don't think like winners to me, and they don't act like winners. The Detour looks like, to me, it was a super easy choice.
Yeah.
Gently Down the Stream took 10 minutes before you even saw the fish, so that would have been make me nervous. So you're in the boat for 10 minutes and you don't see anything, and it's a 15-minute ride, and it's like, Jesus, and it was cloudy. It's like maybe we couldn't see it. And in the clue, it said if the water is rough, that's on you. Like if you can't see through the water, that's on you. Like,
yeah, right.
And that's usually should scare teams away from trying to do it, especially when you get in. I don't know.
But do you think when they showed the aerial shot, you could see the buoys lined up?
Yeah.
So if you can see, they were big ass yellow buoys. So again, if you're a super fan or you watch the show, then you'd be able to tell that, okay, that's the field over there. We're gonna get in the boat. We have to stay below, but we should know we're gonna be turning, and then it's gonna be rapid fire on any side because you can see them the way they're placed out.
Yeah.
And they just didn't do that. They just went in there like a bull in a china shop, like 4 of them.
Yeah, rowing was definitely faster. Ryan and Dusty finished while other teams were still looking through their stuff, even though they did capsize. So, like, it was definitely faster, and they capsized and messed up a few times. So, It was 100% faster. And Arun and Natalia gave their guess. Oh, that's how I put that. I mean, at this point, they know they're racing for last place, and they're still working together. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, you are in last place, and you're still working with the other team.
And Arun and Natalia have not bragged, but in their story, they said, we watched The Amazing Race together our whole lives.
Right.
Did Lulu and Lala do that too?
Not that anything I heard. Definitely not their whole lives.
This is the thing. They should know better. You should know better.
Yeah.
If you never watched the thing, okay, I get it. But, like, if you watched 31, 32 seasons, you got to pick up on something.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, when you're watching it as a family, you're not watching it as a super fan. You're watching it as like, oh, this is cool, and you don't even notice those things. That's why when people come to the show like this, they get all this information like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't notice that. But
that's fair. That's fair.
Because when I watch it the first time, if I'm not live tweeting, which now I am all the time, I'm just watching it as a fan. I'm like, I love this. I love this. When I watch it the second time, I'm nitpicking everything. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I rewind. I'm like, no way. Look, she just shot it. And I go nuts. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to me. All right. So the Detour to the Roadblock, 28 miles, according to Google Maps, a 48-minute drive. One road, again, didn't really have to do too much navigating here. It was one road pretty much the whole way there. 48-minute ride, so really not much of a chance for teams to get too lost. Who's feeling knotted up? The team member assigned this roadblock had to repair fishing holes in a fishing net to receive the next clue. Natalia, Penn, Lala, Kayla, and Ryan did it. It took about 20 minutes for a couple of the teams to get this done. Some of the things that I noticed here were...
Is that the Holderness family in there now?
Where? Yes.
You sports hell.
Hey, that is them. Yes, that is their family vlogs. Shout out to the Holderness family.
Hi, guys.
They're just starting the recap, so I don't know if they're watching from the beginning or they just joined in here. But welcome to the party, pal. All right, here you go. Let's pull up the picture right now as we're talking about it. We're on the fishing nets, and this is when Penn shows off his superpowers and busts out his X-ray goggles. And they turn on the sexy music. Yeah, he busts out the sexy goggles. You guys do have similar goggles there. I mean, his have a blue tint.
I got these at the checkout line at Home Depot for $4.99 about 9 months ago, and they're perfect. I love them. There was
four knots they had to tie, so I think it was only one hole. So it was like one big hole that they had to tie 4 knots. And those knots, the hole was actually lined with yellow, because if they would have actually had to search that whole net trying to look for a hole, that would have been hours. That would have taken hours to go through that whole net trying to find one hole or the right hole and not knowing how many holes. That would have taken them all day. And there's no way that teams would have passed other teams. Like that would have been a mess. But Penn was smart. He used his feet to stretch out the net, which to me seems like common sense. But when you're in a race, a lot of that common sense gets thrown out the window when you get adrenaline and the cortisol and all of that stuff powering through your brain, and just forces you to think differently. So that's why a lot of things that seem like, oh my God, this should be common sense. Well, when those chemicals are running through your brain, I think it shuts off the common sense factor of your brain to preserve like that fight or flight or like those type of things.
I think it's tunnel vision. It's like simple tunnel vision. It's like you zone in on one specific thing and you don't see anything else around it. And you can. I got some guys at work. You can actually see them do it. They just kind of like zoned off, and I'm like, dude, back in here. Get back in the game. So the Holderness family is starting from the beginning, and we're on the part where we're getting crap for not joining the chat, and then they come in and join the damn chat. Fucking Joey, man. That's hilarious. Yeah. So the team members here, like there wasn't too many problems. It wasn't that difficult. Penn was a Boy Scout, so for me, I was a Boy Scout as well. You get knot tying. I mean, that's literally for every rank that you have to do, you have to learn knots. So tying knots, I'm great at. Untying knots, I'm terrible at. That's why Survivor would be hard for me, because there's always untying knots. I'm terrible at that. I don't have much finger dexterity or strength in my fingers to be untying. You got little tiny hands or something? I do have tiny hands. I have baby hands. That's why, like... You know what it is? Your fingers aren't long. No, they're not. Not really long. They're not long. Like, you probably don't throw a good baseball. No, I could throw it far, but I've never been a good pitcher. Well, that's the whole idea. Pedro Martinez had like crazy long Edward Scissorhands. That's why he could throw like crazy balls and stuff. I don't know why I know that. I don't watch baseball. Yeah, okay. Because I'm from Boston, and it's Pedro Martinez. So Penn did a great job with this. He did the extreme happy dance as well. So he just turned nerd level up to like 25 here with the glasses and the happy dance. Leave the glasses alone. Well, and he even said in his recap that, you know, once you hit like 40s, 45s, like your eyes just start deteriorating. That's just a fact. I mean, I had LASIK, so mine will deteriorate a little less than most people, but I had perfect vision up until I was about 37, 38. Perfect. I got mine. I think that's right around when I got mine, around 36. I think I got my LASIK, because I have astigmatism. So one eye, my depth perception was off. So I started I was a basketball player for so long, and I just started missing all my shots, and I never understood why. Like, I'm missing all my damn shots. I got LASIK, and I'm like, woo, all right, I got my depth perception back. Because you can't pop a basketball with those little. I can shoot. I can shoot, though. I can shoot. I'm not great dribbler. I'm not a great dribbler. I'm like Phil Lambier. I play like ugly, but I'm effective. You know, like I can play defense, get rebounds. I got a nice jump shot, but like if I dribble, it's just gonna be ugly. It's effective, but it's ugly. So Penn does the happy dance. Arun and Natalia actually pass Lulu and Lala while driving on the way here. So they actually make up some time on the road, which for me was like, they're driving, they're out. They're eliminated. They're going to be eliminated for self-drive. An absolute shocker when that happened. Yeah, I was baffled when I jumped in there, and I'm like, wow, they actually passed another team. That is driving. I'm like, I was impressed. Because you don't normally get better on the race. Like, it's hard to get better at something like that while you're on the race. So, but I was impressed there. All right, so this leads to a pit stop. The pit stop here was 0.8 miles away. So if you see here, they had to run around the river, and there's two different paths to go, and it was only like 0.1 kilometer difference. So if you went up one path or the other one was like a dirt road, and one was more cementy. So that may have been a bigger difference there. And as this one literally tired out every single team, but this is where this was like foot races. This is what this was set up to be close. Like, teams were supposed to be close. The teams were supposed to be foot racing up the hill for a dramatic finish. So I understand the setup of this race to finish with a dramatic
run uphill with endurance, etc., etc. I love how they did that. So I didn't like how linear it was and it was hard for teams to pass other teams. But if you're going to do that, have this long run uphill. Like, I wish, only other thing I wish is they didn't have Napoleons pointing the way to show you which way they were going to.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I wish that they would let teams get lost in that little like foresty, like, because you couldn't see, and like
that's what happened in the Acropolis in Greece. Like once you get in there, you had to try to find the top of the Parthenon, and like we went in there about 2 or 3 minutes in front of Brooke and Scott, and they showed up at the mat about an hour and a half later because they went left and they had to go all the way around. It was great. There was no one. Yeah, when he ever said, "Oh, there's a guy right there," I'm like, they didn't edit that out because sometimes you can see the cameraman or the boom or something like that from where Phil's standing.
Yeah.
And then we said, "What's Napoleon?" I thought it was the greeter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, it's up there. I'm like, what is that guy doing?
Yes.
Weird.
And again, there wasn't many superfan-esque moves here, but while you're sitting at the pit stop, while you're sitting at the roadblock and your partner is doing the roadblock, what you should be doing is looking around for any sight clues for where the pit stop could be. Because especially if it says like run, or you don't have the car anymore, it's going to be a run to the pit stop. It's mostly going to be a run to. I mean, you could say jump in a cab, but if you look around,
should be wearing both backpacks, like
you're ready to go.
Yeah, right.
Everything ready to go. You're sitting there waiting, and as soon as they go, it's boom, it's off, and you get that extra minute or two, and that could make the big difference here. And that's one thing that Kim did as well. She's looking around. You look at the top of the hill across the bay, and you see that there's this big, beautiful building on the top of a beautiful mountain. The odds are that's probably where you're going to be going, especially if there's nothing else that really stands out around you. And that's something that she did know.
Did they mention that in the show, or is Ray just incredibly intelligent?
There's two.
Napoleon's. It's his birthplace.
Oh, I don't know.
That's awesome.
I don't remember hearing that.
Ray gets the seal clap.
Ray. Well, Ray is a super fan, so Ray definitely finds out all.
Ray in today.
We might bring him in here. We'll see what happens. So the pit stop again. You have to run around the actual. It was like literally right across from where they were. So they couldn't take a boat because I heard somebody like in my head. I'm like, could you just take the water taxi right across, like, or a boat right across, and
then
just
they had to run. Right.
It said that they had to run. I was like, Diana always gets pissed off at me when we're watching. I'm like, I always try to find a way to like, oh, this is going to be faster if you do this. And she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, in my head, this is how I think. I'm trying to think of the fastest way, the way to get a minute to advantage. I don't care. And she's like, oh my God, I just hate you sometimes. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not even on the race. And she's like hating me. All right. So teams must make their way on foot to the Bonifacio Cliffs to check in. For coming in first, Kim and Penn won a trip to Turkey. And Kim has always wanted to go to Turkey. And you can hear it in her voice. Always wanted to go to Turkey. Like, where's Turkey? I've never even looked it up on a map. Why would I ever want to go there?
She must have been walking away with her backpack, like dragging her backpack, looking at Penn going, we're going to New Hampshire? And now, Cape Cod, right?
Oh, Cape Cod? No, at the last one, yeah. But this one, they're going to Turkey.
We're going to Cape Cod, and then we're going to Turkey.
Maybe we'll have some turkey in Cape Cod. I'm going to say that
in New Hampshire there was a woman on The Price is Right from Boston who won a trip to New Hampshire. Sucker.
So I'm going to say that there's no way they're actually taking that trip to Turkey. They're just going to either give it to a family member who has to pay
it's a hell of a wedding present to give to somebody.
Well, it isn't, because you have to pay the taxes on the trip.
No, let them pay the taxes.
Well, it's not really a wedding present, because I'm going to let you guys know the cheapest trip that we went on for the Amazing Race was $3,000 in taxes. So every trip that we won was at least $3,000 that we had to come out of our pockets with. So
yeah, but you're not paying for the planes, the thing.
But if you give me $3,000, I've never spent $3,000 on a trip anywhere. Like, I did the whole proposal, Northern Lights, Iceland for less than $1,000. Never mind
You are
3,000.
a cheap bastard.
It's not cheap. It's finding ways to save money. I don't have any money, dude. I'm broke. Like, what do you think I was crying so damn much? It's not because, I just wanted to win the race.
Fruit stand or something?
It's like, dude, I got a Groupon. I got a Groupon for like a 5-day trip, and that's how I paid for it. You kidding me? It's like even the cameraman, everything. Like everything was less than $1,000.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing near you.
You're like, $3,000 on a trip. I'm like, I've never spent that much money on anything except my wedding, and that's because I had the money from the race. Like, you kidding me?
She really does love you, doesn't she?
She does. Like, it ain't for the money. That's for damn sure. So Kim was lying on the race. She did not want to go to Turkey. She had no clue. So Raquel and Kayla were right behind them. Ryan and Dusty were alone by themselves. Lulu and Lala, Arun and Natalia foot race to the finish. Boom, boom, boom. Lulu and Lala make it there first. Arun and Natalia, you have arrived last yet again, and you're saved yet again. They went home, so they came in last, 10th on the 3rd leg. Then they came in last on the 5th leg, last on the 7th leg. This is the 3rd time that they're saved. 2nd by a non-elimination, 3rd if you count coming back.
Now,
and there's one more coming up.
Cole and Sherry, how many times were they saved?
Twice.
I meant to ask her.
Sherry and Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was season 28, right?
I think it was 2. 2 or 3. I thought
it was twice.
3. Just twice?
I'll double check right now. I don't like to be wrong. Oh yeah, we could call them, or you could just look up on AmazingRace.fandom.com, and that's where I
just call the woman.
They got saved at leg 6. They came in 7th, and leg 8 they came in 6th. Yeah, they were saved twice. Sherry and Cole.
Okay. So they are definitely the one who's been saved the most.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's 3 non-eliminations very, very often. But
right. I mean, they had to do it here, and
Logan did a whole blog post about it, and he included every race from all around the world about people getting saved. So
who did that?
Logan, Super Kawaki, yeah, the Tar historian.
Super Kawaki. He's a good guy. Yeah, he's in like Thailand right now or something.
Yeah, if you count a Keep on Racing, like,
but see, this is the thing: I know that they're predetermined. Someone was wondering that, I think, last week.
They're 100% predetermined. There's no way in the world
before the race even starts. It's got to be like 5, 7, whatever.
It's the $1 million prize. When you're giving away a prize,
it's got to be like, okay, you have to have a speed bump, and your speed bump is to go to Sequesta. Like, it's got to be something. Just they gotta. It's it's like, 'cause they're such good people. They're such good people. I want to hang out with Arun. He seems like he's the life of the party. He's probably a great guy. He just sucks at the race. And I hate to say it because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah. He's a super fan who is not a great racer.
I don't think he's a super fan. I think he's a super watcher.
Yes, he's a super watcher. I'm sure he never watched a recap show before, applying on the race. Like, super fans are a whole different level of fan. They watch the recaps, they read the blogs.
They just kind of know what to expect, and it just doesn't seem like he ever knows what the hell's going on around him. And Natalia's not correcting him.
Well, she's a very good daughter. So Kaylin and Haley got 2 non-elims and 1 Keep on Racing leg. So technically they were saved 3 times.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was before like the 6th leg too.
Yeah, they got saved on leg 4, leg 6, and then leg 8 was a Keep on Racing.
Yeah, it was all rapid fire back to back.
Yeah.
They could pull it off though.
Yeah, I don't see Arun and Natalia, Lulu and Lala have any chance to win the race.
Are they still here?
Huh?
Are they still racing?
They are racing. But there's nothing like, come on, Arun and Natalia finished 9th, 3rd, 10th, 6th, 4th, 5th. Lulu and Lala 10th, 7th, 4th, 2nd, 5th, 4th. If you go by
Lulu and Lala though, they're not that terrible at the tasks.
No, they're not. There's nothing that makes them like one of the greats. There's nothing that's going to make them better at something than anybody else. unless it's like salsa dancing that comes, and even then, like Kim and Penn are dancers. So I don't know. Like, I like, there's nothing against them, but
how are these two so good? What is this with this Kim and Penn? I don't understand this.
You don't understand why they're so good? That one,
because they're old.
It's because they prepared. They've actually prepared for the race. Like, she watched every episode twice. She took vigorous notes. They took courses and classes, and they actually lived lives. A lot of people, don't have a chance.
That's it right there, my man. They've actually lived lives. That's what it comes down to. Go out there and live. Go out there and see the world. That's what the race is all about.
Yeah.
Go out there and just get after it. And they have an awesome family.
Yeah. There's really no excuses.
Yeah.
The only excuses, right now, average finish, Ryan and Dusty 1.85, which is extremely impressive. Never finishing below third, which is great.
It was at the end of the world when they did.
But Ryan and Dusty, they finished second, first, third. So they're teetering off.
Trending down.
Whereas Kim and Penn, fourth, fifth, first, second, third, first. So they're trending up. So we'll see. Like, this is when you start to separate the teams. So Kim and Penn are 2.28 average finish, which is still one of the top 10 races of all time if they can finish there. Raquel and Kayla 3.4, Lulu and Lala 6, Arun and Natalia 6.2. All right, so they're on top of the hill here. All right, let's get it on. It's an award season. What do we got here? Superfan move. Do I have to say it? Kim's going to win again? Who else? Tell me one other Superfan move. Waiting for another team? Is that your Superfan move? Like what? Who else did something good? What? Like following another team and then getting ahead of them and getting to the top of the hill? Was that the Superfan move? But then you get to the bottom and then you wait?
Tell me what Kim and Penn did great again this week.
Kim at the roadblock, looking around while she's at the roadblock, being useful, finding where the possible finish line could be. That's exactly what you should be doing. No other team talked about doing that. No other team had any clue where it was. They were just guessing. She even pointed out, she said, I think it's that thing up there. Like, as soon as they head off, she was like, I think it's that thing right there. And they asked where it was.
Because they said it. Didn't they just ask somebody?
Before they asked anybody,
they
read the clue, and she was like, I think it's that thing right there.
If I remember correctly, she was reading the clue, and it was describing, it was like, she had the clue right here, and she was describing what was right in front of her face.
I'm telling you, Eve, watch the recaps, and she was looking at it beforehand, bro. I mean, all right, otherwise there's not. You tell me any other Superfan move this leg. There wasn't any other ones. What? You tell me. Look, how hard do you think?
Superfan move. If I was Justin right now with my little green skimmer, and I had to pull out a Superfan move, it would be Penn.
Would be Penn with his X-ray goggles.
It would be Penn taking the thing and going, "Is this it? Buy that," because he didn't wait for them.
Yeah, to me that's common sense.
He just went, grabbed his blushing bride, and he was like, "All right, out of here."
Like, I don't know. Like, what else would be a Superfan move, man?
I know.
What are you going to do, man? I don't know. There was really no Superfan moves then. If you don't want to count that, there's really none. I don't have anything to give out. What is your move there, Joey?
You know what? It's even Valentine's Day. So my Joey hates love relationship advice.
Yeah, it goes to
who? One of those, what are you going to say this week? It's like, do you hop on the same thing or do you? So I'm going to give Penn some advice, I think.
Well, before you do that, Holden and his family just chimed in. They spotted the pit stop from the roadblock because she saw drones and cameras. Boom! Smart! Wicked smart, Joey.
I don't know if that's smart or if it's just yet paying attention because you're worldly, older.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what superfans do. Pay attention to everything. It's the little details.
So what you're saying is all old people are superfans?
No. Arun is older than all of them. Did he notice anything?
Well played, sir.
Did he notice anything? No.
He did not notice it. I don't think he noticed his shoes right now.
He doesn't even know what country he's in half the time now. He's a great dude. I love him to death.
You, brother. I do.
I can't wait to meet him.
If I wasn't shitting on you, I wouldn't like you.
That's just how us Northerners are.
Yeah. So no, my relationship advice is to Penn, and it's gonna be don't get all pissy pants when when someone doesn't wait. They're not supposed to wait. You don't need them to wait. You're killing them anyway. You're just gonna put your foot in their ass into the next detour anyway.
It's still gonna bother. Listen, if somebody's following me the whole time, and then they want to like use me, and then like try to use me and take advantage of me, yeah, I can see that getting upset. But I mean, obviously, you're nitpicking here because they don't have really.
I am. I'm totally nitpicking. I had nothing. But that's the thing is like, what is Penn gonna get from Raquel and Kayla? That like what?
No, they have nothing
that he doesn't already have with his teammate as far as a competitive edge. And I'm not saying anything to shit on Raquel and Kayla. I think they're a strong team. I said that.
Yeah, but they don't
need to be waiting for anyone. They don't need to be anything. They don't need.
I genuinely don't think that Kim and Penn need help from anybody for anything.
Right. That's my advice. Is Penn, don't even take a second guess about. Don't even worry yourself about it. It's like a bee coming up on you. Like, geez, this bee should be stinging me. Why isn't it stinging me?
Yeah.
I don't. They're awesome. They're awesome. I think they're gonna win.
Of course they have to win. He said he agrees. He came off like a two.
I was supposed to win.
I don't know if you were supposed to win. You sucked. You
out of your mind. 74% of the TV Guide vote that week.
74% of TV Guide vote. How many
74 times.
All right, bonus footage. Lots of bugs, not a lot of sleep. Teams saw cars parked coming in at night. They were getting cars parked while they were sitting there doing Hakuna Matata around the campfire. So they saw producers parking cars, so they knew there was going to be a self-drive coming. We learned that Penn is colorblind. He also has a
awesome set of glasses.
His awesome set of glasses. We learned that he has a eidetic memory of sorts. Well, not eidetic, but photographic.
Photogenic.
Not photogenic, photographic. Arun couldn't sleep well for 2 months knowing that he let his daughter down. This is one of the things that was like teary-eyed around the fire. Like, he's like, for the time that when he left and went home, like, he had problems sleeping for 2 months because he felt like he let his daughter down. He's such a good...
Then why didn't you do anything about it?
Yeah, he's a busy man. He's a busy man. Raquel and Kayla...
You know what? He's living the American dream, opening stores.
He literally is living the American dream.
Start running.
Dude, run in place. You know what I'm saying? Do calf lifts as you're taking the donuts. Do the calf lifts, calf raises, like, you know. Raquel and Kayla.
I know Arun listens too, and I know Natalia.
Dude.
And seriously, guys, I do love
incredible humans. 100%. Nobody could say anything about the humans.
Unbelievable.
We don't judge humans. We judge races.
As Arun and Taya, as you guys know, it's so easy to judge from these chairs and not being out there.
Absolutely.
We get it. We're just having fun with it. Because if like anyone, who doesn't deserve me shitting on them, it's these two.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't not be me, I guess. I don't know.
All right. So the only other thing that we learned from the bonus footage is that Raquel and Kayla still both live with their parents. They're both like in their 30s and they live with their parents.
They moved back.
They didn't have a lot of money because they got laid off from their jobs or whatever that on hold is. I forget what it's called, furloughed or whatever. So they had to move back home. So of all the teams left, they need the money the most. And that's kind of what we learned from the bonus footage. Next week, though, the cool thing about doing the show on a Monday is that the new teasers came out. So they're going to Chocodicky, Greece.
I just read Kim's message. Sorry to interrupt you, Justin.
No, it's all good.
He agreed they shouldn't have waited. He was bothered they followed, but he wouldn't have waited for them. Agree, okay. He agrees he came off like a tool. You know what it was too? It was just one quick comment. And you got to be so, guys, when you're perfect, you got to nitpick anything.
Yeah.
And believe me, I know.
Well, there was a whole lot. When we redo our season, I'm gonna destroy a lot of myself on the season.
I am gonna tear you a new asshole. I'm gonna climb up in there and die.
But you know who's getting a Superfan move every week?
Justin, you know who's gonna get my relationship advice?
Justin. Yeah. So all right, next week they're going to Greece. All right, some of the things that we saw from the next week on the race. Lulu
in Greece.
Huh? What's up?
I was in Greece.
Lucky for you. It's called Slovaki. which is a Greek shish kebab. That's the title of the episode. Raquel is having issues at a roadblock making some grape leaf something. Lulu and Lala get to the pit stop without finishing a task, which could be a penalty, but they didn't have their clue, so it wasn't a penalty. Like, if they would have got the clue and then checked in, they would have got a 4-hour penalty. But they didn't have the clue, and they found the pit stop.
How do you do that?
So they found the pit stop without having the clue. That's happened twice before in the past, though. Then
don't go to it.
Well, you see Phil. What are you going to do? Do you see just run over and say, you have to check, did we win? No, of course you didn't. But that could be a problem. Speaking of problems, in the bonus footage, there is so Kim and Penn run up to a souvlaki stand, and you have to eat one of them. Well, first you have to spell it. Do you know how to spell souvlaki?
I can't even say it.
Souvlaki. Kim got it on the first try. Super fan, obviously, because she studied. And it's a Greek shish kebab, and you have to pick, chicken or pork, and then you have to eat it before you can get your next clue. So they finished eating it, asked for the clue, and they didn't get the clue. So they look like there's some sort of issues. To me, the first thing I thought is the wrapping that they wrapped it in was probably had your clue or a picture or something on there. But I don't know, because you can't tell from that.
Maybe they ate the clue.
Maybe they ate the clue. Maybe the clue was inside. Maybe you had to look at the way of that. But they definitely.
Slovakia? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Audrey just nailed it.
Yeah. Slovakia.
Yeah, my buddy Dimitri makes that all the time.
Is he Greek?
Zinteropoulos is his last name.
Well, that's pretty Greek to me.
He's incredibly Greek.
Yes, and I love that tzatziki sauce, that cucumber sauce that they put on there. Oh, that's so good. Sure. That's so good. All right, so there's also another sneak peek that shows, if you check out the sneak peek number 1, go on the Amazing Race YouTube page right now, check out the sneak peek number 1. They literally stole something from the fake race I created with Diana.
No, sir.
I swear they stole. Like, I took Diana to a Christmas tree farm in Vermont. Was it Vermont? No.
That's too far away.
In Connecticut. I took to a Christmas tree farm into Connecticut because it was on the way up to Boston. I was in Connecticut, and we had to find a marked Christmas tree and then cut it down. Diana had to get on my shoulders to see it. And if you go to the sneak peek episode number 1 right now, they have to find a marked tree in this like vineyard of some sort, or like maybe olive tree, I'm guessing. And they have to find a marked tree, and then she gets on top of her shoulders, and they're looking around. There's literally the same exact clip from my fake Amazing Race. If you go watch my fake Amazing Race.
Who's doing that, Kim and Penn?
No, Raquel and Kayla.
Oh, okay.
Raquel and Kayla.
I was going to attack you right now by going after it and asking them.
Oh, no, it's absolutely incredible. Here, I'm going to put I'm going to put a link in chat right now. If you haven't seen my Amazing Race proposal, go check that out right now, and you tell me that it's not the same exact. They literally stole it from my, and there's no way, because all of the producers 100% saw my audition video at least 2 times, because it was freaking on the Rachel Ray show with Phil, so they watch and support Phil. But there you go. So they used one of my tasks.
Online edition.
Yeah, the Amazing Race Online edition. So they definitely watched it. I don't care what you say.
And this didn't cost you more than $3,000?
Cost me $1,000, less than $1,000. It was like $600 for the trip. I paid the camera guy like $200. Rented the car for like $100. It was right around $1,000.
Dude, she's hot.
My wife?
She's always been hot, huh?
Yeah, my wife's a smoke show. I'm a lucky man.
She's a heat wagon.
All right, so let's get to a couple questions, and then we can get out of here.
Oh, there it is.
You can skim through till you see it.
I got you. That's cute.
They literally stole it from there. They stole it from my. Okay, couple questions. What are your thoughts on eating challenges in general, Joe? You think eating challenges, Amazing Race?
I think they're okay because it's usually the local fair, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see more in it. Like you get, like maybe you have to make it and eat it, or like you can, like there's no reason why they couldn't make a Slovakia.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, and you can see in the next episode they're actually going to make some grape leaf something, which is cool. And they actually had to make the sausage, which is cool. They should have had to eat it, but yeah. For teams that could not come back after COVID, would you guys like to see them come back for another season? I think so. I think like a second chances, they've not an all-star season, but like a second chance season, which is some people call an all-star season. They should invite all of the teams that couldn't come back. Would you have a problem with that, Joey?
No, me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. No, I would. I want to go back too myself with Tara.
Absolutely. I mean, that'd be fun. I'd love to race against you guys and show you just how bad you are. All right. What do you think would have been the hardest eating challenge to get through out of all of the seasons? I mean, this one's super easy for me. It's Boston Rob in Africa, where you had to eat like pounds of food when literally most of the teams chose to take the penalty rather than finishing it.
Yeah, when you got to eat a lot.
It's lots of meats. It was like plates of meats. It was just like so tough to do. Like,
and then actually just recently when they had the big plate of whatever the heck that was. No, it wasn't recently. It was actually when we were doing season 1. What were they? They were in a cafeteria somewhere. Remember?
Season 1. Oh my God, you're really bringing it back. Yeah, let me pull it up. The super.
They each had to eat a big ass plate of something.
These nuts. Let me see. It's Zambia, Zimbabwe. They went. That was pretty much most of the stuff that we did. I don't remember. I can't look through it. Let's get to the next question, then I'll try to look through that. Do you think Raquel and Kayla have a chance to win this season, like a Kelsey and Joey edit, or an Eric and Keisha and Jen, Josh and Brent, Amy and Maya?
Brooke and Scott.
Well, these are all teams that really didn't win anything until the last leg.
Oh, the ostrich egg. That would suck.
Yeah, but it's eggs. It's just a lot of eggs.
It smells and it's like a jelly.
You get to cook it. They got to cook it. It wasn't raw. If it was raw, yes.
I know, but even when you cook it, it's like it's not white and it's not like a big egg, like a.
Dude, over the 4 pounds of meat, 4 pounds, like try to eat.
The ostrich egg was like 8. It was huge.
It's an egg. You can just swallow it. You don't have to chew it. It's egg. You literally don't have to swallow it.
Like 3 or 4 hard-boiled eggs.
I literally have 4 hard-boiled eggs every morning.
Okay, now do 16 of them.
Okay, I love eggs. You give me a little olive oil, salt, and pepper, I'm good to go, baby.
No olive oil. No. It's an ostrich egg.
That 1,000-year-old egg would have been terrible to eat, but it's one egg, and it's not a lot. You just power that down and throw up after. The starfish.
Yeah, that's the one I was actually talking about. The 1,000-year-old one that was all purple and that can't be.
You had to eat a starfish. There was a scorpion. I would go with that pounds of food. I forgot how many pounds it was from season 7. But it was a couple pounds of food.
2 pounds of caviar. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Oof.
I mean, I would eat dog shit if I had to.
14 normal eggs, they said it was.
What's the shelf life on a 1,000-year-old egg? It's like, okay,
it's not really 1,000 years old.
Throw this out when they discover America.
It's not really 1,000 years old. It's just what they call it. But do you think Raquel and Kayla have a chance to win the race?
I think so. Absolutely.
Really?
Technically, anyone has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the same thing but even Kelsey and Joey, they finished second. They set the record for finishing second the most times. So it's not like it was out of the realm for them to finish. Like the 2 biggest crazy wins were the Beekman brothers and Amy and Maya. To me, when I was watching those seasons, I was pissed off that they both won, to be honest. Like I was like, what? They don't there's no what? Like especially like Amy and Maya, they raced against some of the best racers ever to be on the race. They had Adam and Bethany, and then the dentist were in the final leg with them. And I'm like, you see those 3 teams, there's no way Amy and Maya win, and they wind up winning. But so yes, technically
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
I do see Raquel and Kayla make it to the top 3 for sure. So if you're in the top 3 and 2 other teams mess up, I didn't see any way that Team Extreme was losing. For me, that they were winning that the whole time too. And then, So yes, it's possible. Do I think so? No. To me, I think the chances are 5% chance that they would have it to win. For me, it's probably 60% Kim and Penn, 35% Ryan and Dusty, 5% Raquel and Kayla.
I'm 65-25. 10? Is that the other one? 20? 10? 15?
Yeah, 65-25, 10.
Abacus or something. It's cold. It's cold out.
All right. What else there?
You know what? We should probably go visit. When do they do their podcast?
They don't do it. They don't do it live. They record
Ah,
it.
what the
They record it. We're one of the few teams that do it live. I mean, the few live recaps. A lot of them are recorded.
We're gonna have to go on.
Which is why, like, the production value is really good on those guys. You know how hard this is to do live. You know how long it took me to set this thing up for everything to move at once. Like, this took weeks to set up.
Yeah, I know. Like guys in chat, he actually has me sign on 40 minutes before we go live just to go over what I shouldn't say, can't say.
Like, I put so much work into this shit, and it probably doesn't show that much, but I'm very proud of it. Like,
no, this is a great thing. I love it. The fans love it. And you know, even if you enjoy it and if it helps like one team get on too, that's awesome.
Oh, well, listen, if you're going on the race, and I'm not just saying this because it sounds conceited, but if you're going on the race and you don't watch the races recap, you didn't prepare. You didn't prepare. Because
I have just a plethora of knowledge. Yeah. So
well, there's literally stuff here that you hear here that you don't get anywhere else. And the things that you hear here can literally help you win legs on the race. Like, the littlest things can help you win legs on the race. As you know,
agreed.
If you stop bringing 2 backpacks, there's zero reason to bring 2 backpacks ever. I'm dying on that hill. Never bring 2 backpacks. You don't. If you think you need something, you don't. Like, two pairs of anything. Okay, you don't need a third anything. You don't need a third pair of anything. Socks or underwear, maybe.
The only thing I say skivvies and socks. That's it.
And those are so tiny that doesn't matter. Like,
right.
Those other than that, you don't need any. I mean, like, Hung and Chi, like, they packed less than anybody else in the history of the Amazing Race. They had, like, between the two of them, I think 12 pounds total. Like, they were sharing a toothbrush. That's how, like, crazy they were, which I would never recommend. You could bring your own damn toothbrush.
You can, yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And as always, time is the most valuable thing that you have. And for you to spend any of it here with me and us means the world to me. I love talking about the Amazing Race, and I love that I get to do it with racers.
Me?
Yeah, I mean, Joe, you're a douche, but I still love talking to you. I love talking to racers, and I love talking to super fans like me, because even though I got to live my dream, I hope and I pray that all of you get to live your dream. Oh, Caroline, thank you so much. I pray.
That's the second time she did that.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you for the super
awesome.
Chat. Listen, you don't have to give me money. Like, subscribe, share, like, that really means the world to me. And just hanging out. I mean, I love talking about the race. Like, I truly love talking about the race. So thank you guys for allowing us to do this. It means the world to me. And I hope that you guys get enough out of this that it's worth your time.
Shit, I should have said this in the beginning. I'm so sorry.
What?
One of my dearest buddies, John Carroll, had a mini stroke yesterday, and he was supposed to go into surgery tonight. But his wife was sneaking in candy into his pockets, so I was gonna wait till tomorrow. He's doing fine. He's doing awesome. But he tunes into the show every week, and I wanted to say hi to him. And
Will and James in the chat as I'm signing off.
He doesn't really say much in the chat, but he likes to listen.
We appreciate you.
Him and his wife. It's like a little weekend thing that they do. Like,
send some prayers out.
He's doing good. He's in a great hospital. His daughter's a heat wagon, but
Joey,
she knows it.
Well, thank you guys again. I know how valuable your time is, and I appreciate and I hope that we give you enough out of this. If you enjoy it, being here live, we enjoy having you, and we're also on.
Hey, Will and James are here. Bye, Will and James.
We appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you.